Hello, welcome to another drawing tutorial. Today we're going to be working on a Marsh-Wiggle. So go ahead, grab your pencils and paper, and I will be waiting right here. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to start kind of high on the page here, because as you saw in the sample drawing, we're going to be dangling his foot into the water. So you're going to want to start by placing him fairly high on the page. I'm going to start with, he'll be sitting right about there. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this sort of kidney shape for his torso, going up to kind of a smaller neck area at the top this will be his shoulders, and we're going to attach the neck right up there. So we're going to kind of have him slouching a little bit, because of course this is not a cheery people. We're going to do another kidney bean up top, kind of tapering into a thinner chin. You can have a nose. Now you can make this kind of droopy or a little bit more pointy, but I like it to be fairly prominent. And some of the most important things you're going to do, actually, you'll go ahead and add the eyes. Depending where you put the nose, you may not be able to see the far eye right there. But things you're going to want to think about are, here's this Marsh-Wiggle, and okay, he looks a little bit unhappy, but can we make him look even more bedraggled? And things you can do, even if he's a little bit young, you could try putting some facial lines, a little curve under the eyelid, the eye, to suggest sagging skin, and some mouth, some frown lines over here next to his mouth. Of course, you've got the iconic wide-brimmed hat. That's just an oval with a pointy triangular kind of top. And then you'll give him some fairly straggly hair. Now coming down here, we've got the two legs. So we've got the one that's going to come out fairly straight this way, and remember they've got longer legs than humans, so you can play with the length a little. I'm going to have it dangling down there. You're just dealing with some lines that sort of taper together, and then over here we'll have this other leg going upwards. That may be maybe need a little more of an incline there. Let's fix that. Okay, so there you've got this sort of, he's sitting sideways, and this first foot is going to be resting on the ground. Ideally, it would be a little bit higher than his lower leg right here, because it's further back. You can do a little bit of a heel coming off, and then just shoot it forward into some 3 or more toed froggy feet. And then down here we'll do the same thing. We'll have a little heel and his toes coming down like that. Alright, now he's leaning back at a little bit of an angle, so we want to give him something to rest his weight on. So let's put his arm down this way. And again, we can have sort of a froggy hand. And he might be having visitors today. He's got a neighbor or strangers from afar, and he's going to be explaining to them how, of course, they're not likely to have favorable weather. So we can just bring these lines. These are all nearly parallel lines, but they each taper a little bit. And you've got this sort of explaining hand, again with the three fingers. You can do more if you want. Kind of that webbed appearance is what we're going for. Alright, now he is probably wearing a tunic, so let's go ahead and give him a nice belt. That is a very thick line and not what I was going for. So you might want to give him a belt, or if you want it to be thinner, you can make a kind of a rope belt. I guess here we're getting kind of a sash, because that was a fairly thick one, and then you'll want to have that tunic come down in some waves to sort of cover. You can erase your earlier lines. Let's see, are we going to put him in long sleeves? Yeah, let's put him in some long sleeves here. And those can sort of flare out a little bit. He's got a kind of a flared shirt. These bell sleeves, very slightly. Maybe some long. Yeah, how about some trousers that have been rolled up so that he could go fishing. You just do the little, you've got the line here, you follow the contour of his leg, going down in this U shape, and then you're going to do a larger U, bring it up, bring the lines up and above, and then finish them off behind. So he's been getting his legs wet, and he doesn't want to get his pants soaked, although, you know, he's going to step in a puddle of mud on the way home anyway if he's not, maybe he's visiting a friend. So it doesn't make much difference to him, really, but it's the principle of the thing. Alright, so that's great, except that it looks like he's floating in midair, so let's give him sort of a riverbank to sit on here. Let's see. If his foot is hanging down, then he must be fairly close to the edge. I don't think I can get it much closer than that, so you sort of want to, you're going to give it a little bit of an angle. This is sort of the edge of some marshland that's made a wet place here. So there's your edge of the bank. Now again, based on how far down his leg is reaching, depending if we want him to be submerged up above the ankle or just touching his toe, it's going to make a difference, because you're actually going to show how high this bank is by doing a line that's running parallel to the line you just drew. You don't want to go all the way, because you're going to be sloping this down. You've got your sort of dirt bank here, and then you'll follow that around. What I'm drawing here now is the edge of the water, where the water meets up against the earth. You can kind of see right here, there's, if you add some somewhat concentric partial circles, you get that feeling of the water bumping up against the edges. So now we decide which toe is the farthest down. Probably that one. I can make it a little longer. And turns out he's just dipping his toe, and we can do some more ovals to show that that's going on there. Now, there's not much going on in the background, so let's give him Maybe a horizon line. Usually you'll want to do that about the level of the eyes, but let's not do anything too strong, just enough to make sure that we know that he is sitting somewhere. But I'm more interested in the foreground. He's not looking very marshy right now. We need some river plants to be popping up here. So let's go ahead and give some grass up here on the edge of the riverbank. You can have some next to his hand. And just sort of fill that in. You could even make one of these into some nice cattails. Alright, let's see. Does he have maybe a collar area? Might have one of those, sort of a neck area with ties or little X's on it to give it some visual interest. Maybe add some wrinkles to the fabric. And we can make a little bump here where the, oh, hit something I didn't intend to. Some fat, still got that weird tool. Back to the paintbrush, there we go. Trying to make a little bump coming off here just to show it kind of puffing up above the belt. Alright, you give him a little bit of a band to his hat if you want to, or you can leave it plain. And maybe give it some rocks here also, some smooth river rocks you might want to add a little bit of shading to. Just so that you've got kind of a nice surrounding for him. And then you can just kind of go wherever your imagination takes you. You could give him a pot to cook some eels in, or pretty much anything else you want. Give him a fishing pole. But just have fun with it, and I hope to see you again soon.